Hello and welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Trillionaire. The internet, nay, the world's sloppiest but greatest podcast about ideas and all things of how to become a trillionaire, and maybe just not really how to become a trillionaire, but really just my thoughts on what might be trillionaire ideas. Okay, so this episode I want to talk about productivity. But most like, what is the next idea in regards to productivity? Right now, we see tons and tons of apps about productivity. You got to-do list apps, you got endless amount of those, and you got so many types of apps around. You know, how to get done what you want to get done, how to create your tasks, how to do this, how to do that, blah 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 blah. But all of it really doesn't solve the problem of productivity. None of it solves the problem of how and what do people want to accomplish what they want in life. How do you set a goal and how do you accomplish it, right? And the biggest problem with it is that I've been messing with a few of those, like Life RPG. I just started messing with that one, and I've messed with a couple of ones before. Everything from regular to-do lists to kind of like more automated type things, and then or just listening to other people talk about just talk about what is productivity, how to be productive, and all that stuff. And it's always related around, having to enter your own goals in. I think that's kind of like the biggest problem with that. Because what we want right now, I feel like what a lot of people want is not to have to put in all your goals and keep track of everything yourself. And it's just so much work. We're trying to do to be more productive in order to be more efficient, not to give ourselves more work. We want to give ourselves less work. Even those people who want to, those of us who like to do a lot of things and who find ourselves always busy with different things, we don't do it because we want to, give ourselves more work necessarily. We want to be more effective and to get more things done with less work. That's just how the human mind kind of works a lot of the times for most people. And I feel like most, if not all, of the productivity-related apps and stuff out there for it doesn't really help because it just gives us more work to do. We have to sit there and create all the goals, create all the tasks, create the milestones, and then track it every day or every week or every month and go back and see how successful or not successful it was. And it's just so much, man. And automation hasn't gotten to the point where it can help. Or has it? I believe it has. I believe it's getting to the point where it's going to be even greater of a help than any sort of productivity app that forces us or that asks us to enter our own goals and everything like that. What we need is an app in which can learn our skills and habits, and then help us to accomplish those habits, help us to solve what we want without having to, micromanage it ourselves. That can be done by simply focusing on this paradigm. One, people want to create habits. People want help with creating habits. People want help with with changing habits. And people want help with consisting habits, as in with being consistent with a habit, right? Those are the three things people want. It's as simple as that in terms of productivity. Basically habits, and we want to create the right habits. We want to change the habits when we need to, and we want to be consistent with the habits that we have or the right habits, all right? And no productivity app really helps that right now, because we have to create a whole new habit just to actually create a habit. Like, doesn't make sense. In order to use any to-do app, you have to create a habit, and it has nothing to do with the habits that we want to be creating, right? So if we have an app that can actually analyze our current skills, our current habits, and then spit out, okay, these are your habits right now that it's seen so far. Maybe we can correct it or whatever, course correct. But essentially, you can analyze our habits And then based on what we want to accomplish in life, what we want to accomplish as goals, it'll say, okay, this is how you might accomplish those habits in a way that's actually useful for our individual skills and individual abilities in terms of the timeline it will take to accomplish that habit, to build that habit, right? And this is a massive place in which can this is a massive, like, trillionaire idea, I believe, because there is never enough productivity. There is never an end to how much more productive we can be and how much more things we can do. Humans always want more stuff. Humans always want to grow, right? At least those of us that actually want to be successful, you always want to grow and change and do more. And so this industry will never die. This industry will never plateau out, because there's always more to do. So if we build a couple apps or just one major app, or if you have a bunch of competitors doing their own apps that's focusing around this idea, then it'll be powerful, because it'll probably start out as an app, but it won't end like that. It's perfect for this specific time and space in which we're in now, because we can fuse those apps, or rather we can change those apps into bots, and then we can change them into AI, into actual general artificial intelligence. We can change those into like buddy AI systems that grow up, that themselves grow only by learning by learning about our individual needs. So you and I and he and she and everybody has their own individual AI productivity partners who sit down or just are coming to existence by helping us. And because it has that origin, it's far less likely that we're gonna have some massive AI that tries to control everybody, because everybody has their own AI. So in order for one to become all powerful, it would have to combat all those other AI, and it's just impractical, both from a AI standpoint and from a just kind of a conquering standpoint. It's much better to help your person become the most productive person ever, and by doing that, you help that person anyways, or the AI helps that person. And for us, we always want to be more productive. I guess you still have the kind of like the negative side of it, which where people would say, oh, what if the AI forces us to be more productive or whatever, but the fact that it actually has to give us ways to be more productive that is possible within our means, gives us that knowledge and that safety that it's kind of in our best interest, and of course it is scary. A lot of people don't like to cede control. But at the same time, the AIs don't have to cede control. They don't have to take control, For those people who are like more control freaks or whatever, it can just give you an idea and say, hey, this is probably going to be X% more efficient for you if you do it this way, or you're going to accomplish this much more if you do it this way. And so people will want to do those kinds of things. And this also goes into technology in regards to virtual reality technology. It goes into augmented reality. It goes into all sorts of different artificial intelligence things that we're doing now, machine learning, data mining, data storytelling, and it just gives a use for all the data that's being collected right now. Right now, organizations are collecting this data in order to sell it to advertisers, which doesn't really help us. It makes us, more and more focused on this consumptive economy. Well, where if we could actually use that data for ourselves, then there's actually a use for it, and we can better monetize that more healthily, more ethically, because then the monetization efforts can be around, okay, you have a AI or bot or whatever that can help you be more productive. Here's another AI bot that you can add onto it, or rather, these are some rewards that you can get, that you can reward yourself from your level up points or whatever. You want to gamify it, you can have level up points, and then once you get a certain amount of points, you can spend that on something. So there could be a market around rewarding yourself. But you really don't even have to directly monetize it, because the more productive people are, the more successful people are, the more money they will have to even spend on stuff in the first place, and so the healthier the economy will be. So it's all around pretty awesome, I think. Of course, there are probably downfalls. It's much harder than it sounds, of course. It always is. But the point is that the current productivity apps and stuff out there is just a far cry from what is possible. And if we focus more on automation and on automating our data collection and turning that for ourselves, rather than offloading that to and just giving that to all these big companies and stuff like that, then it'll just be way more powerful, way more powerful. I mean, just imagine being able to have full control over your data and having it work for you, like finally work for you, right? Man, there's just so much you can do with this just simple idea. I want to look more into how we can make it possible, more into balancing the rewards so that you can actually build an economy around it, such that if I say being this much, accomplishing this goal will give me this reward points, and those reward points are actually currency. In the central market of productivity people, then or people who use this productivity AI or bot or whatever, then that economy itself will be a powerful economy, a powerful market of people who are just focused on being more productive. To repeat that same word over again. I wonder if we'll come to the point where we would ask ourselves, are those people more human, more effective humans, or better humans because they have an AI bot? Will people then try to ostracize these people because they are more productive? Will these people have a elitist mentality? Will these people become its own class of people? I really hope not. That's why I hope this technology, this sort of access to productivity becomes democratized, decentralized, so that everybody can have access to it. Because I think it's terrible when one person and one sect of people have access to something that really everybody should have. Keep saying that's we probably have a productivity app that even analyzes stuff like that, our speech and everything like that, so it can course correct us live. Of course, that's another thing that's scary to people, because they're like, oh, it had privacy and all that. I'm like, it's just interesting because people always claim privacy and all this, but they're the same. Those are the exact same people who turn around and use Facebook or Google or whatever. And quite frankly, I would rather have my own AI that's specifically geared towards me invading my privacy, quote unquote, because it's not invasion of privacy. It's me. That's what I feel like the ultimate, evolution will come towards. Well, we will call these AI, we will call these bots and apps part of ourselves. Just like now, where we have our cell phones like practically attached to us, where so many people feel like almost physical illness. They feel almost physically hurt when they have their phones separate from themselves. I think the same thing will be done for AI and all that, bots, where we will have our AI buddies will be part of ourselves. They'll be part of what makes us human, even if that makes us superhuman or extra or whatever. I still think it will be part of us, and I think that's actually very powerful and very positive. Some people might be scared of it, but people are always scared of change. People are always scared of evolution, really. A lot of people are in denial of evolution, but to be honest with you, I think that's the better way to go about things, because our minds are fickle. Our minds are not really great for being, the most productive or the most truthful or the most able to do much of anything. And it was quite amazing that we got this far with the brains that we have. But that doesn't mean that can't be improved. The brains that we had before, even like 10,000 years ago, is way different than the brains we have now, and the brains we have 10,000 years in the future, even 1,000, 100 years in the future, I think will be different than the ones we have now. That's great. That's what we should build more towards, because now is the point in time in which you can actually take hold of our evolution and decide for ourselves how we want to evolve, how we want to change. And that's the ultimate control, isn't it? Actually being able to choose how you will change and how your entire humanity will change as a people. So yeah, be more productive, be more awesome. Thanks. Bye-bye.